Originally released solely in Japan as Puzzle Tsunagete Pon, this is a wonderfully unique take on the falling block puzzler that sits somewhere between Magical Drop and Quarth. Differently coloured blocks descend in rows from the top of the screen, and your aim is to shoot chains between separated groups of the same colour, which will then get removed, and everything else ascending upwards towards the top of the screen. If the blocks touch the line at the bottom, it's game over. You control this little cannon thing at the bottom and can only move horizontally. You first aim at a block in the colour you want to link, and then can fire infinite chain pieces of that colour upwards using the A button, where it'll rest as high up as it can. Link as many chains together as you like, they'll conglomerate into this kind of grid and will automatically complete if the grid touches something else in that colour. It's an incredibly simple formula taken here, but the key is in the foresight of what will happen once the groups get removed. You can easily chain many matches together, as there's never more than 3 or 4 different colours on this 9-tile wide board. The simplicity works to the game's benefit, as you really need to be able to work quickly. The pace of the whole thing is excellently frantic at times, and being able to puzzle out what's going to happen at a glance is very satisfying, making the game properly addictive once you get into it. If it was too convoluted or too difficult to visualize, the whole thing wouldn't be nearly as much fun. Now, that's not to say there's not a learning curve to it, and you can certainly improve as you go along. For example, at first it's all too easy to become single-minded in trying to eliminate 2 massive clumps of color at, say, opposite ends, not realizing that you might inadvertently short-circuit yourself by connecting the chain to a single block in the middle or something like that. The way around this is to build up chains from both sides simultaneously, then link all 3 in the middle with the final connecting piece. Very rewarding when you pull something like that off. There are 3 game modes here, all of which have their own decent longevity and don't feel tacked on at all. The first is Normal mode, which is stage-based yet also survival. Essentially, the levels will progress indefinitely until 2 special blocks with the letter C on them appear. Now all you need to do is connect those 2 C's together and the level will auto-clear and you'll move on to the next one. You never know when they'll appear. I couldn't determine if you needed to clear a certain amount out first or get X number of points, but once they do, it's a frantic race to clear the way so you can link them. As well as all this, there's a really cool little card collecting gimmick to go along with Normal mode. If you see this sand timer in the lower left corner ticking down, should you manage to beat the level before this depletes, you'll earn a card with a monster on it, showing its height, weight, and a little quote by them. There are 91 of these all told, and while the cards themselves don't do anything as such, it still serves as an incentive to keep replaying levels. The other game modes include Battle, which requires you to link with a friend, and Clear All, which gives you a bunch of puzzles and a par score. Say if a puzzle says 3, then it means you can beat it in 3 moves. You're able to take more than this if you want. You won't fail unless you're left with a single block, that obviously cannot be removed at that point. Little else to say about Puzzle Link, really, except that if you're even slightly into the falling block puzzler thing, or even puzzlers in general, this is right up there. There's a harder difficulty setting if you're more experienced, completing your card collection is very addictive, controls are tight and responsive, and the presentation is really bold and vibrant. Puzzle Link actually has a sequel too, if that's not enough for you. I look forward to it. This is the sort of game that every handheld library should have as a requirement.